So today I wanted to talk to you about dis-ease and everything that is shared on this platform is protected by the laws of nature, nature's God. And I wanted to come on here and talk about dis-ease. What does dis-ease mean? What comes to your mind when you think of dis, and then you think of ease? It's basically two words put together in one. Dis, we could think of it could mean without. Ease, without the word dis in front of it, without the three letters in front of it, ease means to freedom from labor, pain or physical annoyance, tranquil rest, comfort, to enjoy one's ease, freedom from concern, anxiety, or solicitude, a quiet state of mind, to be at ease about one's health. And that's what comes up if you Google the word ease, what the meaning of it is. And in my personal life, I have experienced over the years that if I am at ease in my brain, in my thoughts, and I'm not going about life with a lot of unforgiveness and revenge and hatred and all these things because of someone that's wronged me in my life at one time or another, it actually, if you release that uneasy feeling out of your brain, out of your thought pattern, you actually have more space in there to be yourself, to be at your full potential. You literally create space in your brain to accomplish and achieve what you were really created to do by the Creator. And it brings me to the thoughts of freedom of choice. We have choice. We have freedom of choice. We're all born as human beings on this planet with freedom of choice. We can choose to hold on to things that people have done to us that have wronged us and all those things, and we literally create a dis-ease in our brain, to where your thoughts will turn into, eventually they can, for my personal experience has been, once I forgave the people that had wronged me in my life, whether it was my parents or a school teacher or a friend, your sibling, your neighbor, etc., and then it literally created my brain to have space to put productive things in there into my thought process, because I wasn't constantly thinking about how much hatred and unforgiveness and all those things that I have against my fellow man. It literally, for myself, it freed up myself so much that I was able to do things physically and mentally that I had never done before in my adult life. And it started for myself. It started back when I was 17 years old. All the hatred and the unforgiveness and all those things started back when I was like 17 years old, when I was a teenager, even probably when I was 14, 15 years old. And I held on to all those things because I wanted to somehow think that the people that had wronged me didn't deserve to be forgiven. Well, that may be true. They didn't deserve to be forgiven, but I deserve to be free. And once I made that choice, it's hard to explain how much freedom that I personally have been able to receive, been able to have in my life. And if you think of thoughts, like I said earlier, dis-ease, you're without ease if you have a dis-ease. And then it shows up as in, for myself, it showed up with coughing up blood. For a good 10, 12 years, I coughed up blood after I had an accident when I was 21 years old. And I punctured my lungs, messed up my spleen, messed up 9 ribs on the left side of my body that would never stay in place. And I learned as I went through life for 17 years. Actually, it was more than 17 years. It was happened when I was 21 years old. And I'm 43 years old now. So it would have been 21, 22 years ago that I lived with this pain in my physical body because I had chosen to not release and forgive those that had wronged me in my life. And it turned out that once I released them and forgave myself for all those things from my past, I was able to get rid of the pain in my body from that the damage had done when I had that accident when I was 21 years old, when I fell off of a roof, fell 14 feet, fell off of a roof, and those emotions, the hatred and the revenge and the unforgiveness and all those things had settled into the left side of my body and had made me physically disabled in some ways on my left side of my body. And when I released those things, let go of them, released the people that wronged me, I literally had a emotional, physical pain that left my body one night. And what I learned in that process was that I also had been holding on to some shame and guilt for some of the things that I had done in my life that I didn't want exposed to anybody. And for myself, what I did is I went and found people that I could trust and I started talking to them about this, about all the emotions that I had held in over the years, and it had made me physically and mentally sick. And after I did that, I was able to have a physical, emotional breakthrough. And I could feel it leave my body one night. And I had to think of, when you read the Bible, and of course, it's, when you read the Bible, in the beginning there, when God said, "Let there be light." So I had been studying and thinking about that. So does that mean that there was darkness by default? And then when God said there in the Bible, in the beginning of the Bible, he said, "Let there be light." Does that mean there was darkness by default? And that was so deep for me. And I'm like, all these dark emotions that I had stored up in my body over all these years had made me sick. But when I shined a light on them, on these emotions, and brought them out and exposed them for what they were, and I forgave the people that did not deserve to be forgiven. In my eyes, they didn't deserve to be forgiven. But I deserved to be free. I was created for freedom. So I shined a light on all these things that I had been storing up all my life. And as I sit here today, it is amazing. The strength that I have in my physical body, that I got back after I released those people that were in my life that had wronged me, and I had to forgive myself for not forgiving them. I had to forgive myself for holding on to those emotions all these years. And I wanted to talk about this in this video so that to help other men understand that even if you have people in your life that do not deserve to be forgiven, maybe they murdered somebody or whatever, maybe they did something worse than the people did that I didn't want to forgive. And what I figured out is I don't have to play God because I'm not God. And it was making me physically and mentally sick. So I released it. And the experience after that has been so freeing. And as I'm making this video here, it's been about 2 months now to date that I've had this experience of the power of forgiveness. And it's not sexy to forgive someone that deserves to be not forgiven. It's not a sexy thing to do, and it's not a fun thing to do. It was probably the hardest thing that I've probably ever done in my entire life, was to forgive these people that wronged me. And like I said, those emotions set into my body in my weak areas where I had damaged my lungs, my spleen, and my back, my ribs. And what I learned is that dark emotions will go for the weakest part of your body, and they will live there until you deal with them. And dark emotions will always target the weakest areas of your body, whether it's joints, whether it's a damaged area that you physically damaged from an accident. The dark emotions will sit in there. And another thing that I learned in this process is that life is in the blood, spiritually, mentally, and physically. And whether you believe in God, that he died on the cross and all that is obviously up to each individual. But when you think of when they wrote the Bible, they wrote in there in the Bible that when they nailed Jesus, the Son of God, to the cross, and there was bloodshed, and he died, and then he rose again. And he was showing us that life is in the blood. Because when you lose too much blood in your physical body, obviously you bleed out and you die. So what I was showing is, if you put oxygen in your blood, disease can't live. But when we cloud our blood and our bloodstream in our body with the things we put in it or with the emotions that we store in there, etc., you literally will eventually die. Because that's what I was to the point where at one point in my life that I was dying on the inside, and I was so sick and couldn't physically do what I needed to do in my job, all those things. And I like to look at oxygen in the blood the same way as light. When you bring light into darkness, it's like bringing oxygen into your blood. When you bring oxygen into your blood, into your bloodstream, which can be what I experienced, you bring positive emotions into your mind, and it will manifest in a physical way, because your thought pattern will determine how you live your life. If your mind is at ease, then the rest of your body will be at ease. And like I said earlier in the first part of the video here, a dis-ease starts right here in your brain, in your mind, and then it starts manifesting in a physical way. And if we understand the power of the mind, we can literally change our destiny for our lives. And as I share this experience, I hope that this resonates with other men that have dealt with the same things in life. Because after all, we are on the same planet, and we do have the same things in life that we deal with. And another thing that I will add that I did to dull some of the pain that I did earlier in my life was I turned into an alcoholic and used alcohol to dull the pain, because I had to do something, because I was emotionally and physically sick with all those dark emotions that I had stored in my body. And that's not me saying this, it's not something that I'm proud of, but I am free because I made a choice. And I pray that if you're watching this video, that you will make the same choice and live to be free and not in bondage, because you chose forgiveness for your life. Be blessed.